It's just a hobby, but yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Move aside and let the man go through. Let the man go through. Move aside and let the man go through. Let the man go through. Move aside and let the man go through. Let the man go through. Move aside and let the man go through. Let the man go through. If I stole
Welcome to the Hood, Milwaukee. I am your host, William Duvall. We are live in River West, in the River West studios today. This is 104.1 FM, WXRW, and we are streaming live all over the planet Earth, wherever you have internet service. Today I have a special guest in studio. Please welcome Jeremy. Jeremy, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So, Jeremy and I met recently at a what's called an intensive outpatient program for drug and alcohol treatment in Brown Deer at a place called Rogers. And I mentioned to Jeremy that I have this show and that, I had spent a little time at the Milwaukee County House of Corrections, and I also did 3 months. So that was 3 months. It was a 5-month sentence at the Milwaukee County Jail, and I reduced it to 3 months by working in the inmate worker program in the kitchen for 7 days a week, 16 hours a day for 2 months, and reduced my sentence to 3 months. Then I spent a little time at the Milwaukee County House of Corrections as well, just a couple months. Anyway, the show's about the system, and so Jeremy, you're new to Milwaukee. Is that, do I have that straight?
Yep, I've been here about 6-7 months.
6 or 7 months? Okay. What brought you to Milwaukee?
New start,
Okay.
Trying to get sober. I was too close to the problem. I grew up in Appleton my whole life, and it just felt like it was time to try something different.
Okay. What was your substance of choice?
Lately it was struggling with methamphetamines,
Oh, yeah.
but all throughout life it was, everything. After school and high school was a lot of drinking,
Mm-hmm.
Marijuana all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we dabbled in a little bit of everything.
Okay. Well, were you ever arrested?
Many times, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know the answer to that question. That's the only answer that I knew. We don't know each other that well.
Yeah.
We went through a program together and we saw each other there, and we hit some tennis balls recently. So that's all I know. And I'm just going to ask questions because we're just going to talk about, you basically and me, but mostly you. When's the first time you got arrested and why?
Probably in high school for selling marijuana.
Selling pot?
Yep. So they came at me pretty hard. I mean, back then they were actually prosecuting people for weed pretty seriously.
In Appleton, Wisconsin?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were how old?
16, 17.
Okay.
It was the MEG unit. They were like
The what unit?
the MEG unit, Special Task Force for Drugs.
Oh, okay.
So their job is to flip as many people as they can and try to get information, up the chain, essentially.
Okay.
And they came at me really hard as a kid in high school. It was pretty crazy.
So tell me the scenario. Like, how did they catch you? What happened? The scene.
Kid got some marijuana from me. It was Summerfest. He was driving up, got pulled over, got caught with stuff, and then, said he got it from me, and then he wore a wire. Yeah.
They set him up with a wire and all that
I mean,
stuff?
yeah, for real, yeah.
And now, okay. And how long had you been selling pot at age 16?
Maybe a couple years.
Couple years, okay. So what did the police, what did the system do to you at age 16 or 17 when they got you at that first time?
Well, I mean, I'd been given a lot of chances. I had other stuff like disorderly conducts, public urination.
Okay.
So I had like a bunch of like.
You had like a very minor rap sheet, if you will.
Well, I mean, I got some serious ones on there, but it's yeah.
Before you got arrested that time at age 17, you had some serious ones?
No, it was pretty minor then.
After that. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was this, how'd you get nailed? how did they prosecute you or discipline you?
So, because I didn't have a record and stuff, I got a signature bond. So, and then I had to take a public defender. My parents were going through a divorce, so there was essentially no money for
Lawyer?
a defense attorney. So, and just a couple of days that I had stayed in there, it was pretty horrible. I didn't want to come back. So,
Couple of days you were staying in where?
out of Gamey County Jail.
Okay. So it was bad staying in that county jail for a couple days.
Yeah, it's altogether, it's just a really bad jail. There's been just in the stays I've been in, there was a couple suicides. They don't talk about a lot of it, obviously. It doesn't hit, but it's a bad place.
I believe you.
Yeah, it's rough.
So they were holding you for a couple days until they let you go on a signature bond.
Yeah, because I think I got picked up on like a Friday, which is a bad time. You don't want to get
Yep.
picked up, then you got to sit the weekend until you can see the judge Monday. And I can remember my girlfriend at the time was just beside herself. And I think she had her dad come over and bail me out.
Oh, really?
And then he gave me the talk about going into the military.
But I thought it was a signature bond.
Well, that was probably another time. It's
Okay.
You got to remember that's 25 years ago.
Okay. How much that first time? Like what quantity of product did you have on you?
Like thousands of no, I'm just kidding. It was minor. I think I had QPs, quarter pounds, half
Quarter
pounds.
pound.
It's not like anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so you got bounced out of there on bond. Then what happened? What did they give you for, like, in court? Did they give you a sentence?
Yeah, it was I want to say between 2 and 3 years of probation. I had to do drug programs, various ones. Not use any other substances. And thank God for me, I had a really cool PO. She was actually a PO, I believe, up here in other big cities. So she's used to really high crime and stuff, like really rough people. And she was like, "This is a kid. He just likes to smoke pot, and he's not really." So she gave me a lot of chances. Like,
so okay, let's fast forward then. So you got.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
And then if I completed that, I believe it would drop off my record.
Okay.
Like not a deferred prosecution agreement, but I forget what it's called.
So did you complete the probation and get it all off your record and everything?
Correct.
Okay. So then let's fast forward to a future arrest. Did you get a jail sentence at some point, or a prison sentence, or
no?
anything
Actually, I'd been able to duck, like serving any real time or the system as far as jail till I was about 32, 33.
Okay. So at 32, 33, what happened there?
It was a domestic. It was a really bad domestic, and I wasn't supposed to have firearms at that time. And when she had called the police, they asked, "Are there any weapons there?" and stuff. She'd never really dealt with the police or been in trouble, so she was like, "Well, yeah, do you think he's got a handgun downstairs?"
Great.
So, like, it was already a bad situation that, like, so I got every cop in town and there, and I'd already left. I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew I just japped out, and this isn't good. I knew it was serious.
So you left the scene when they showed up and you were gone.
Yeah, because it was.
But they found you eventually.
Well,
or you turned yourself
they
in.
kind of talked me. Yeah, they talked me down and.
Okay. So what'd you get arrested for that you had? Didn't you say until you were 32, 33, until you had to do jail time?
Correct.
So
prison time.
What'd you have to do prison time for?
It was suffocation, strangulation, substantial battery.
So a domestic case.
Correct. And then the gun what got me 3 in and 3 out. That's like pretty typical.
Right.
if you have felon with a firearm.
Right. What prison did you have to go to in Wisconsin?
There were various ones, Red Granite, Oshkosh, because they're, close to where my mom was, where she lives.
Right. Are those maximum security, mediums?
Yeah.
Okay. During your initial, entry into a prison, were you, were you surprised? Were you shocked? Were you scared? What was your impression when you went into that, when you had to go to prison and you initially got there?
Well, I mean, for anybody, you can imagine, it's like any first experience, especially something like that, you see it in the movies. You've got these, preconceived notions of what it is. Nothing good, So it was definitely, it was. I mean, you'd be lying if you said you weren't scared, Not like for your life, but just jail's bad enough. It's not something you're looking forward to. But the one thing I was looking forward to was being able to see family and actually get outside.
You mean during like visitation, that kind of thing?
Correct, because up to that time, you don't leave jail. You stay in the building. You can't have any contact.
Right.
So some people are like that for years, 2 years, waiting, in cases, not going outside or getting contact. So
my experience is very limited. I've never been to prison, but just being arrested, going to local police precincts here, going to the county jail, going to the House of Corrections, I was scared every single time. I mean, you kind of, after you are there for a number of days, weeks, you become, if it's possible, if it's the appropriate word to use, comfortable or accustomed to your surroundings, whatever. But for me personally, it was felt out of place, number one. And I mean, I don't want to sound strange or like this is a prejudice. It's not a prejudice thing to say. It's just facts. I was an utter minority. It was 98% black.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of, intimidation that goes on toward a guy like me.
Correct.
So I was scared.
Yeah, it's difficult. You gotta learn how to navigate the system really quick. Otherwise, you become, victim of it. I mean, if you don't
Targeted.
Correct.
Yeah. Did you get into any altercations?
Yeah, there were a couple. Because my case was a violent case, I had to really be careful. So that was really hard for me because I was always used to I'm like fight or flight, and I generally want to fight. And so when I'm in there, it's really because you can't go anywhere. So I'm like, I've got anger issues, and I want to smash every single person in there. You know what I'm saying? But you can't because then you're going to the hole. Your charges you can pick up charges. A lot of different stuff.
Yes, I'm familiar. When you were there, did you make any friends inside prison?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's who you see all day long. I mean, I wouldn't say they're lifelong best friends, but I met a lot of different people from all different walks of life. So
anybody you keep in contact with today?
Sporadically here and there.
Uh-huh.
Just asking how they're doing, but yeah, I don't think I've hung out with anybody that I've met in jail or prison.
Okay. When you were there, what was the food like?
The food is horrible. A lot of peas. I hate a lot of I mean, it's a lot of soy they've been putting in the system now lately.
Yeah.
Because it's cheap, but then now they know what the effects are on the men.
When you were there, did you do any kind of activities, or how'd you spend your time?
I slept a lot.
You slept a lot for 3 years.
I slept a lot when I wasn't sleeping. I was playing basketball or was playing cards, but I really tried to stay off the card tables because it was, just a lot of bickering, trying to chase down debts. You name it. And it's funny because I got warned before I went. A buddy of mine told me, he said, stay off the basketball courts. and he said, don't play cards or stay off the card table. And it was that's where I got into all my issues, was playing basketball.
Well, that's basically two of the only things to do there. You can read books if you can get a hold of them. There's reading, and then there's cards and basketball.
Yeah.
And I did a little of both.
I really enjoyed the reading part, being able to, because when you're in your regular life, you get very little time to read, but when you're in there, it's so. I read a lot of good books, and
I did too.
yeah, that was the bright side of it, if there are any.
Right,
like there's
right.
very few, but
So when I was at the county jail, they had, and I was in the inmate worker pod. And I was for a nonviolent situation.
I'm
but
glad you did that. It helps your time go faster. And
absolutely, I reduced my sentence. I was working every day,
Mhm.
so I felt like I was down in the kitchen. I felt like I wasn't in the jail per se. Anyway, it's a different scenario. But I was at the House of Corrections which is a maximum security facility, and I was just in GP. So I have that experience as well, which is very different. And it was like, constant on edge, constant. Certain guys are constantly looking for trouble, constantly looking for an argument, for a confrontation, in the bathroom, in every corner, wherever the cameras can't see you.
Stealing stuff. I mean, you got to keep your eye on your cell. I mean, it's like you said, you're constantly on edge. Or when you're gonna get a new cellmate, that's another one.
House of Corrections is interesting because here in Milwaukee County, it's a dormitory style pod, meaning 30 sets of bunk beds, and
in
you have
one room.
You have a bunkie,
Oh,
correct?
that looks
In
horrible.
one room, it is horrible.
One bunky's bad enough. I mean, I heard when what I'm saying. I can't imagine staying like that way.
Yeah, and I. So there are a lot of guys who are coming out of prison there at the House of Corrections, and then there's a lot of guys going back up north at the House of Corrections, waiting to either resolve their case or whatever. And
Sounds like a shit show.
it can be just that. So you're guys are coming and going all the time. I was just there for a short period of time. The food was terrible, but so did you have communication with family or friends who would send in canteen or food, snacks, whatever, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, definitely. So in the beginning, you get there and you got a zero balance, but unless people take care of stuff for you, you can get like toiletries and other stuff, but they start charging you for it. So you can start running to like a negative account, and then anytime they put money on your books for canteen, then they'll just take it out of that.
Yeah.
But they got a new system where your family can order directly online and send like these care packages. So that was really helpful that way.
Yeah. I mean, some of these guys are getting massive quantities of deliveries twice a week, and they open out of their locker like a store. They're selling.
Well, it's currency there. That's what
It's currency.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. How were the jail guards up there where you were?
There's a few guys that are decent, but for the most part, it's it's like a boys' club. They don't really they protect their people pretty close. So they get away with a lot of stuff.
Here in Milwaukee County, which is my only experience, there's a lot of female guards. Is that the case at the prisons?
I've been seeing more, but it still was male dominated for the most part. But no, a lot more females starting to work. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did you? So since you've left prison, after you got out, what was it like to adjust to life? Back say on the street, as they say.
Yeah, it was. It's funny, trying to remember, that, because there's some things I took to right away, like driving. That was pretty, that was nice. I mean, I remember going to the bank, and that felt really it felt like it was an out-of-body experience, and it's just kind of wild. I mean, it'd been 3 years.
Right.
But I mean, ended up going back 6 months later, so it really felt like it was just straight 6.
What brought you back 6 months later? Probation violation?
I got in some trouble. They charged me, and then they dropped it. And at the point you're in the system, and you get in trouble, you really can't do anything about it. It's really hard to defend yourself, essentially, once you're already on probation. And there's very limited amounts of things you're able to say and do to defend yourself. It's kind of, if most people knew it's pretty.
Have you ever been sent back or taken into custody on a parole or probation violation of any kind?
When I was younger, I had like an ATR or it basic.
Alternative to revocation.
Correct, but with prison, I essentially got revocated for all my time. I did it all. I didn't really the silver lining in that I didn't do a bunch of probation out on the streets and then lose it. I just
Yeah.
because that's the other part of the system is I've seen guys that pick up cases when they're like teenagers and they're on them till their mid-30s.
That's something I wanted to touch on because I met a lot of guys that you're alluding to right there who, once they're in the system just keeps bringing them back over and over. Little petty things, if they violate the terms of their supervision, which is parole or probation, they can be taken back into custody and held at a jail for my probation officer held me for 2 months last summer, and after I was on a probation violation, which was I drank alcohol, and he was made aware of that fact, and then I was, what's up, Cash?
How you doing, man?
What's
Jeremy.
up, brother?
Nice to meet you. Jeremy.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
hey Cash, how you doing, man? So we're in the middle of a conversation here. Have a seat, brother. But
go ahead.
we're rolling. So yeah, just have a seat, and I think we've got about 8 minutes left here. Not even. Yeah. So the probation violation basically, they took me back into custody
For drinking
for
2 months.
Well, he could have gotten me out right away. It's the power was with the probation officer or the parole officer. They have the power to issue warrants and to rescind the warrant. They have essentially as much or more power than police, than judges.
Thank God.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I'm telling you.
And they're left unchecked.
Unchecked.
And that's every system should be checked. And it's crazy that's especially that one when you have that power over somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody's life, their entire life, their families,
I'd pull you into this conversation, Cash, but you don't have a microphone, so you're going to have to just listen in. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of guys who've been, it can just be hearsay. Like, my neighbor could call the police, and he knows that I'm on probation, and he's mad at me because I parked in front of his house or in his spot, right? And he can call and have me arrested, and they don't even ask why.
Mm-hmm.
They just come get you and put you in jail, and then it's up to the probation officer to deal with you.
Correct.
And you can sit there. They can make you sit there for a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever.
Oh, that's right. They've got to either charge him or do something, but they can let him. Yeah, correct.
Well, yeah, but then he came and saw me after about that amount of time, about 2.5 weeks, and said, okay, so I'm not going to revoke you, which means
correct.
To explain to the listeners,
you get another chance, but
revocation means to probation or parole is a suspended sentence. So you're able to go out in society on a suspended sentence and not go to jail. But if you violate the terms of your suspended sentence, they can revoke the suspended sentence and make you serve the time. Or in this case, they take you into custody and decide what to do with you. And in my case, he said, well, Bill, we're going to make you go to a DOC, that's Department of Corrections sanctioned drug and alcohol treatment program on the corner of 24th and Fond du Lac.
A lot of stuff about that place.
That's a pretty location, let me tell you.
MDF?
Taj Mahal. What's that?
What is it, MDF?
MSDF.
MSDF.
That's downtown. No, it was a place called the Swigert House, which is a DOC, Drug and Alcohol Treatment Center. It's kind of like a halfway house. You live there, and then you have to go downtown to this. It's called the Daily Reporting Center, where you take classes, drug and alcohol treatment, anger management, etc., which is right across the street from MSDF and the Milwaukee County Jails, block away. Yeah, so
what was your sentence, by the way? So you got, if you would have got suspended, what were you looking at, jail time?
So I had a year ago, June 3rd, I was arrested for a probation violation. However, there was a hanging dormant OWI charge from 2 years prior related to my domestic case that I was on probation for. And once my probation officer knew that warrant had been issued, but he didn't say anything to me. So he just waited for something to happen, and the phone call came in, Bill's drinking. So he just said, call the police, because there's a warrant out for his arrest. He didn't even have to issue a warrant. So they just came because they were told exactly where I was, in my living room on my couch watching the French Open tennis tournament, having a cocktail in the middle of the day, in the morning, and they arrested me on the OWI warrant. That was, I got a signature bond on that immediately, but then there's what's called a PO hold. My probation officer had put a hold on me, more powerful than a judge, more powerful than anything, a sentence. It's just a hold, and I could do nothing. You can't bail yourself out. A lawyer can't help you. Nobody can help you until he comes, talks to you, and tells you what he's going to do with you. And you can fight it, you can appeal it. You know all this, right?
Yeah, but you learn not to. You just, like, when you learn the system, you got to kiss it. Some people don't kiss their asses, but
right.
They can make your life.
And then what they say?
Well,
I got to talk to my supervisor.
Always. That's
stuff. Yeah,
always
right.
bullshit.
You think, can I go there? There's supervisor. Yeah, go ahead and try.
She's going to release me, drop that PO hold. I'm going to talk to my supervisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you didn't have to deal with any PO holds or revocation.
Yeah, there was a few. I mean, in my, I've the ATR, I got one, and then I was able to finish off, my probation. I didn't get sent back. After prison, when I came back home, 6 months later, they sent me back, so wasn't able to win that case, even though they dropped the charges. I still went back for 3 years. Yeah. So, well, I mean,
because of the violation of your existing probation or parole?
I won't say there wasn't any charges. They tried to charge me as a repeat offender for because I had weed in a pipe, and they tried to trump it up to a felony. You should have seen the court's face when I went before him. Like, I could tell the judge felt bad, and like the officials when they found out that they were trying to charge me with this. So all they did was make me pay court fees, and because they knew that I was getting sent back for 3 years.
Yeah.
So they were just like.
So did they put you in front of the same judge?
No, it was a different case. So yeah, it was a different judge, female judge. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that you're here in Milwaukee and away from Appleton and having sort of what you
I love the city.
Fresh start. Do you like Milwaukee?
I was surprised because back in the day, when my friends were in college, they'd always want me to come up, and I was like, I don't like the traffic. I don't know where I'm going. But now that I come up here now, like, I love this city. I really do like. I'm taken to it.
Have you gotten down to Summerfest at all?
I don't like that many people,
Yeah, it's very crowded.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
very
like
crowded. There's no doubt about it. Well, I appreciate your coming in, Jeremy.
Of course.
It's a short show. Maybe, we can talk again in the future, which we will. We're going to get on the pickleball court. We're going to get on the tennis court. We're going to see each other in the future. But maybe we'll talk about if you want to come back on again some other time, because it was real quick.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It goes fast.
Yeah.
But, we've been here with Jeremy. And, of course, my sidekick here, Cash, showed up. Better late than never. Thank you, Cash. Glad you showed up, my man. We got about 20 seconds. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. You've been listening to The Hood. I'm your host, William Duvall. This is 104.1 WXRW, River West Radio, live from River West, Milwaukee, USA.